Would you like to know something about everything that has taken place with you, the humans? Yeah, there's a lot more to the story than what you initially believed. What could that be? Gee, this is still sounding familiar, but done better. Hey guys, what's up? Lucky Cheese 7 is here today. Feeling much better than last week, even though, we did do the podcast. As far as my condition goes, it's gotten better. The cough, again, it's mainly stemming a lot at night, from what I've noticed. It has gotten a hell of a lot better, which is good for me. There is quite a number of things we need to talk about when it comes to this chapter. But, of course, as you guys know, the Black Clover podcast, once again, and I can't really do these by myself. Yeah, I could, but what fun would that be? Just having me here by myself like every other YouTuber. When I could just be here talking about said chapter with a friend. So I have brought with me a special guest and a special friend. Go ahead and introduce yourself.
Greetings, everyone. It is I, Sparda3g, back here for another podcast with Lucky G7. It's great for you to invite me. And what a chapter we have here today. We are almost very close to the milestone, the 200th chapter. It's a hell of accomplishment, actually. Three more. But yes, we're here with a latest development of this chapter. That is very interesting, to say the least.
Very interesting, if you ask me. But at the same time, we got a cover page for Black Clover this week. Well, outside of the jump one. Now, the jump one, to me, I will say, stands out the most. I mean, the other one was cool. I like it. But the one for jump, kind of screams, yeah, like this, you thought shit couldn't get crazier? Well, here's this. Sparta. So between the two, between the jump cover page and then the actual color page we got, what's your thought on that?
I know if in the morning time, I actually woke up and see a couple of Shonen Jump chapters to be released. And I was saying to myself, I'm going to read One Piece, but for some reason, I want to read Black Clover first. It depends on the situation or the scenario that's happening in the series. Mm-hmm. So in this case, the scenario with Black Clover is pretty much at the climax. Now that is a vantage point. Still, I am amazed myself that I actually find myself talking about Black Clover and then took a 2 hours hiatus before I get to jump into another series like One Piece, My Hero, and so forth. So I guess this goes to show you that the interest is pretty high. I mean, even when you're up to the climax for a lot of other series, it depends how good the climax, how good the series has been going. So that's a huge compliment, in my opinion, that Black Clover took my attention away and really want to see what exactly going to happen and how it's going to lead to, a potential future arcs or anything that's going to involve with Asta, Yuno, and other characters that we have. This is a arc that has been going nearly 2 years, if not 2 years already. I think it is more than 2 years. Has it been?
Let me double check. It should be 2.
All right. So either a little over or under. It is fascinating that we have gone here for this long, and then we're seeing the climax. Now we're just kind of a little shaky on the fact where we're going here from this point forward. But first, we got to take care of the devil if we do take care of them. And then after that, we're going to find ourselves thinking, where do we go from here?
It's been a year and a half at this point is where we've been sitting at.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, yeah. See, we're nearly 2 years then.
Yeah.
Usually it's funny because I usually if you pass 2 years, you've gone way too long for a lot of people. Me, it depends on the interest level. The fact that I'm still hooked to the series or even more hooked than ever, which is actually a big accomplishment, then that's a great thing. Because usually people will be like, if the people are begging to get to the next arc or get out of this arc, it only tells you that either you went too long because you weren't that interesting or that exciting, or it just maybe the person just probably just wanted to go to the next subject. Because you gotta remember when you do a long arc, or when you do a big arc that's pretty much like a over a year long, it really depends on the topics. It really depends how many characters are going to be involved. Like, say, like if you go to a year arc and you only got like four characters that we know, Asta, Yuno, um, I don't know, two other guys, maybe one girl, I don't know. But that's it. And but like, oh, I want to see Noelle. I want to see how she's gonna develop here. It's like, well, wait a year. Oh, that's boring though. People would have that kind of mindset.
They
So
would.
an advantage in this, the advantage of this arc, most of the characters are involved here. And not only that, but they actually get development. So that's even like better for everyone. Better for me. This is probably the reason why I don't find myself being upset. I'm like, all right, I want to go to the next arc. I want to see what they could do with the heroine. I want to see what they could do with the main character. I want to see what they could do with the protagonist. I need more of those characters before I ask myself, man, those characters don't mean anything at all or anything like that.
No,
So again,
everyone gets
I
like a
find
personal
myself
spotlight.
right. So I find myself like very interested still because of the whole every character is involved are involved. I know a lot of people probably a little bit shaking, like, hmm, does this mean the series is coming to an end? Again, there are the series that does this, and when they do that, they it doesn't mean it has to end. I mean, you could argue, but like series like the Tunics and from Naruto or the Bleach from Soul Society, it got a lot of characters involved, but doesn't mean it ends there. No, it doesn't mean that. It just means it's going to be a huge arc that would change the landscape for the future series, future arcs. I mean, so that seems to be the case for Black Clover. Now, if it ends here, well, shoot. But so far, there's no real hints or anything that justify that this is the final arc, unless there's an advertisement. Hey, greetings! You guys love what's happening in the anime? Well, guess what? You should read the manga because it's at the final arc, and then you'd be like, "Oh shit!" So I can see that happening. So other series, when they read final arcs, some tends to change their opinion a little bit too heavily. Like say like, oh man, look at the flaws this series have. Like, dude, you didn't act like that when you
I
was
mean,
enjoying it before.
unless Tabata does what Ashita did with Tokyo Ghoul and then going into Tokyo Ghoul Re, then I would be like, okay, that makes sense. But if it's like, this is it, I'm gonna be like, you could have done more. I mean, I still like it, but it screams more right now, especially with the huge revelation that we got.
Well, yeah, I'm just saying. It's just funny how it's like, yeah, you're in a comforting zone. You're in a very comfort zone. But once you hear the announcement of the final arc, everything just let loose. It's like, oh my god, so many potential just gone wasted. I'm like, damn, calm down. Let's see how this arc first. Let's see how it ends. Let's see how the series finale ends, and then we could just relevate everything before you lose your mind out of it.
It's
But
like
no,
looking
no,
at
no. Let's
Bleach.
just well, yeah. Well, the Bleach final arc lasted like more than 2 years, 3 years, even, I think.
I think 6, if I remember
And
correctly.
yeah, I mean, it gone through so many other characters, but uh, it wasn't rewarding enough. It was just not. It wasn't good to me. It wasn't good in my opinion. I made a known fact in my review, so I was not a fan of that arc. I don't think a lot of people are, but the point is, I wait until everything is over before I can make a final judgment, rather than just like start losing your mind during it, more so than just like losing your mind after it's all done.
Yeah, and because I remember that's how we were when the war arc ended for Naruto. I was like, looking back on it now, that sucks.
I mean, the only time you could argue that it's okay to try to like lose your mind is when you're like, I haven't seen that character done anything in a while. Well, I got bad news for you. This is the final arc, so you won't see him anymore. Like, wow, damn it, I hate this series. This series is a waste of potential. I can see that happening, but other than that, I usually just wait until everything is over.
Oh wait, did you have more to say, or was that it?
Oh no, no, that's all. That's all. And now we could just talk about the chapter
Yeah,
197.
197, 19 pages long, and commemoration of the 4 years.
4 years, 4 years. Will it go to 5 years? Well, it depends on this arc, but
Definitely. We're here now with the chapter. with Mimosa, like, what is this? The situation, like, as she's looking at the devil, and what is this otherworldly being? An indescribable evil, or as what I said in the last podcast, Ryuk. Yeah, we're still making the joke. I'm just gonna say that right now. And even Ass is like, wait, hold on, who the fuck? What the fuck is that disgusting black thing?
This would have been a good, this would have been a good time to use that Full Metal Jacket quote, that video clip he always likes to put, the sound clip you talk about. You know what I'm talking about, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that would have been a perfect time to use that right here. It's pretty much Asta in a nutshell on reaction towards the devil himself.
Right. It's like I asked that, yet somehow I had the feeling I already knew. It's like it appears some uninvited guests have arrived. Oh well, let's ignore. Like, I love how he's like, I know they're here, but who gives a shit? I'm like he's like staring down at Patoli, and he's like, "Come here." Like, power word magic. Anything he says becomes reality. Was he able to recreate Ronnie's swapping magic with that? And he's like, enough. Light creation magic, light whip of judgment. And then all he just says is disappear. Iron spear, and holy shit. I mean, it's not crucified per se, but it definitely looks like he's like in a crucified position. And then Yuno screaming Asta, like, that disgusting black thing is the one behind this all. Asta's like immediately just charging in. And this dude, I'm going to make the Yu-Gi-Oh reference again. Dropping down swords of revealing light. Like the storm of blades, if you will.
That's a good way to put it. Sort of really like.
I mean, they are coming down. It's like, similar fashion too.
Yeah, that's true.
Like, wait, what? Like, there's real weapons mixed in these. My anti-magic can't erase them. And like, he's deflecting everything. Just dodging these is pushing me to my limit, damn it. And the devil's still like smiling about the whole thing. Using vacuum wall, and Asta and Yuno are struggling. Be crushed, be squashed, be broken, be run through.
Be broken. Sounds like he's talking to himself. Yeah, I'll be broken guy.
Right? Kind of doesn't it?
Jeez.
And then you got Mimosa screaming, Asta, Yuno. And he's like, I won't allow anyone to get in my way. And then you thought last week's thing was okay. Last week was pretty crazy too in terms of the revelation, but now we're getting even more stuff because the devils, like 500 years ago, they got in my way and caused my incarnation to fail right at the last moment. And that time, the next person I set my eyes on was you, a new vessel, still so young and clearly loved by Mana, so naive and easily shaken. By applying tragedy to your sense of duty, it was all too simple to bring you forth with the reincarnation ritual. And Patoli's like, wait, what are you saying? The one who reincarnated us was lit. Even if it meant dirtying his own hands in that forbidden ritual, he entrusted his final hope to us. The devils automatically like shutting that down by saying, are you sure about that? After all, it was I that reincarnated you elves. And he's like, what? The leader of the elves would have never wanted the eradication of the humans. Both the revival of the elves and the revenge for the tragedies inflicted, they were all lies. All you've been doing is walking neatly down the path I prepared for you, all while stringing along all the other fools as well. Huh. Kind of reminds me of another series that did this, but this one was better. And what you've arrived at is a future Lit would have never wanted. And my incarnation into flesh, I was chosen by the Clover. Just like Lit. That's right. You were chosen as my perfect, ignorant little pawn. A job well done. Sparda. So, how do you feel about this particular revelation. Just like him saying, like, oh yeah, it was just so hilarious to fool both you elves and the humans. Your dreams and desires all make for the ultimate playthings.
Well, this helps us a lot. It helps a lot because I was waiting for this kind of answer. Like, okay, I know there's a reincarnation technique. I know the elf or Patuli is the one that did this, or more like the devil himself. But the fact is it all begins from him because he was so desperate to see his brethren again, especially Lich. So he did this, and we got this long arc. With this revelation, this makes a lot of sense to all the small pieces here and there. I actually mentioned as soon as I read that part, I actually went to like the Reddit. Like I went to the Reddit. Oh, my dog is barking. Maybe he's like, no, that's not the right revelation. Oh boy.
Like, that's some bullshit I sense.
Well, but here's the thing. This makes sense because as the dog is still barking, this makes sense because I look back to the old chapters. I'm not sure if you did that after the last chapter. Did you like ever went back to the old chapter and try to see like all the bits and pieces? Even one person in the comment section, he or she actually left a tidbit to look back, and it was like, oh, that makes even more sense. I remember something like that, but I'm trying to remember how much like an influence it contributed to the last chapter of Revelation, and it really does pay off a lot. It makes a lot of more sense. It continues on to make sense because the whole, well, the fact that Reha, I think that's how you pronounce his name. I could be wrong. Like he lied about the whole, this is the humans' fault. But the fact that there's an idea that you go see your friends again, your family again, he wanted to go all the way, even if it means a awful, bad, terrible path. He still wanted to do it just because he wanted to see that path. He wanted to see his family, friends, Lich all over again. It's the only way. And he was also known as a liar. So this is his greatest criminally lie that he ever put up. Because, of course, again, this could have been prevented 100%. Well, not 100%, but this could have been prevented. This could have detoured a different route for Patuli. Instead, he encouraged him. He let him go and do his way to do the reincarnation. Now we have the reincarnation being done by the devil. This makes a lot of sense because there's a lot of context that has been foreshadowed or hinted that this technique is definitely not a technique that's done by the elf. You got the elf going crazy because out of despair. And then when it goes so crazy, you see them. Asta, I think it was Asta that once commented that they coming off looking more than just a human, more than just an elf, something very abnormal, something that's very terrifying.
I didn't
That's
notice
the demon.
that. I didn't.
And every time you always see the auras, the presence, they always come off like a demonic style. I forgot one thing about that. Veto did the demon magic once, and I was like, that's right, he did once.
That's a good point. Yeah,
it's crazy because I was like, oh right, he does do this. He did that before. That was I like that moment was supposed to take like a very what the hell, like, where'd that come from? But it never come to my mind because it was like a one-time thing. But that's the idea. If it's a one-time thing, you got to take it into consideration, and that's what makes this series very fascinating. But going back to the current arc, there's a lot of hints that it was a demonic thing. Even like the what you call it, like those alchemy power thingy, like the spirit, like the circle thing. I don't know, the transmutation circle. I'm not sure. I forgot the proper word for it.
Yeah, it's something along those lines, but I know what you're talking about.
Right. It's similar to what we just seen here, or similar to the whole concept of reincarnation. So that makes a lot of sense and how we could have connected a long time ago, even if some did guess it. But the fact is, the revelation does put a huge light over it, and now we could start to see it in a clear vision how everything starts to connect since the very beginning. And lastly, you remember the chapter where Asta fought the two elves within Goach and his little sister.
Maria.
I remember, Maria. Like, if you remember what he said, like during the time he was about to take it out, from the body, he would say like, "Huh, that's convenient. He got a weapon that could take out a reincarnation. Like it has a sole purpose to remove the reincarnation out of the body. Like, how is that convenient?" And he's like, wondering, like, Lynch, what's this about? But that was his time to go away. But the fact is, he has a sword that conveniently removed the reincarnation. And it makes sense because this is never his idea. This is never Lynch's idea, like, oh, I got a power to remove myself. It's like you made a virus. Don't try to create a vaccine for it
Yeah,
unless you're planning to try
like
to
a
test
serum.
yourself and then like shit. Like, don't create a cure if you're really hell bent to destroy everybody. If you want to create a cure for like a safety reason, like maybe you get affected by yourself, then do so. But this is reincarnation. Everybody wins in terms of people who gets reincarnated, such as the elf. But since there's a drawback, which is being demonic and despair, that's bad. That's bad for everybody. But again, Patuli did not think that. He only think about for his brethren and Lich. If he knew better, he probably wouldn't have done that. But he was very naive to to fall for this path. So it makes a lot of sense why Lich fought against Asta and Yuno and took out the sword that Asta didn't even know he had. Took out the sword and pretty much just gave it up because maybe not only is no longer his grimoire, but the fact is maybe he's telling him, "Hey, save us or save them by removing everybody with that sword. You got it? Cool. Do your thing." You know,
Yeah,
it makes sense how, especially the fact that Lich and the first
was it?
Magic Emperor,
Yeah,
like they both work together to take out the demons and they fail. But if you fail to do that, at least trying to have something that could negate the magic from them. So there we have the sword. Maybe the sword is like one of the first process to remove the demon by create a sword that could just like remove the magical
that's
demonic
what I was thinking
aura from.
initially because I was like thinking, okay, well maybe the two of them like worked on something to culminate the entire anti magic process and defeating the devil.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah. So a lot of things starts to add up and it starts to make a lot more sense. Because if it was like an elf, we probably would not get the understandable reason why Lich has a weapon that just so happened to conveniently remove the reincarnation. Why everything is still a demonic thing. Like why it's still part of the demon ritual stuff. But now since we know that reincarnation is definitely it makes a lot of sense. That being said, it's rather tragic because you see the panel where he's all high and mighty. You see the panel where he does so much destruction. The time where he took out the Vermilion, the brother, the cool guy, for
wait, go.
Golian.
Yeah,
Yes. You remember that time he destroyed his arm, took him out all the way to this arc. Then the worst of all, he killed
Julius.
the Magic Emperor. Yes, he killed him, Julius. He killed Julius. Just think about that. Like, you destroy everything, you kill everybody, and now you just realize this is never your idea. This is never, well, it's your idea, but it was never your sole magic. It was never your magic,
Intention.
and it
Yeah,
was not even. And the worst of all, to him, it was never Lich path. It was never his idea. If anything, it only makes Lich highly disappointed in you if he's around. We don't know about the Lich that we saw before. It could be just an empty shell, or it could be some of the retraction of the memory, but we don't know yet. That's still unconfirmed. But the fact is, Patoli did all this, and it's all demons win. It's all his win. It was never his win. It would never be his win. It was never going to be his win. It was just the demons win. And now here we are, just got literally backstabbed by every thorn. Then at one point, it seems like his grimoire, his 4-leaf clover is changing into a 5-leaf clover.
yeah. Because I remember looking at that and I was just like, oh shit, like it's evolving. that's
Right.
that's scary.
It's scary because we don't know where we're heading from there. That means this guy is either trying to create a new demon in Patuli or something else is happening. But regardless, the 5-leaf clover is never good news. Asta made the best of it, but that's Asta, which don't have magic, and it's still a mystery where Asta even came from. Let alone the fact that he carried the Lich Grimoire book for whatever reasons again. Now, some people will argue that this will actually reveal that in the flashback, the first chapter, that the big giant demon is supposed to be Lich, me because out of despair. I'm not sure that's really confirmed. You could kind of try to theorize that. It does sound plausible, but we don't know exactly yet. Because
Yeah.
again, they did try to stop the demon and they fail. And we gotta figure out why Lich had the 5-leaf clover thing. We never found out yet here. We can only speculate it. We could speculate that maybe, just maybe, that he was a demon and then he was has to taken out by the first magic emperor, even if they're like best friends back then. But it's the unfortunate habit because, shit, it's a demon destroying my human hometown or town, whatever. So that hasn't been really revealed yet. We could speculate it at this time, but for me, there's a good chance, but I can't say that's 100% true. But we're going to get a lot more answers, definitely. We just got one for the reincarnation, and it makes a lot of sense
It really
from
does.
beginning to the end. It's incredible. I'm really, really enjoying this whole development. And it's funny because, like, again, it's not like it's not like not the whole Kaguya Zetsu mumble jumble stuff. Again, I already pointed out many times in the last podcast. You could go back to the last podcast. I made a lot of points. You could take it as it is. You could agree or disagree. It depends on your end. I made many points on why the Kaguya was still significantly worse than this thing happened. Again, this has been going on for a while, and this has been planted for a while. It's just the fact is, you got
There's
one
been other
man who
arcs
is
too.
blinded. Right. You got one man that is blinded by despair and blinded just to see his brethren, his family again, and didn't see all the repercussions, the drawbacks, all the true meaning of the magic of the reincarnation. And now this is the price he gets. So this is his fault, and I'm not sure where we go from here. All we know is that his grimoire has turned into a 5-leaf clover, which is alarming. I don't know if this is the devil's job or this is his job. We'll see what's the aftermath. Maybe the next chapter we should see it, but we'll see.
Yeah, we that's something we definitely need to keep our eye on when it comes to that. But with the chapter still going on, don't give me that crap. As we see Yuno and Asta. Well, Yuno saying, popping up out of here, blasting your crazy magic everywhere. And then Asta saying, you're crazy, strong, and scary. Who the hell are you? It's a fair point. Yeah, I mean, to be fair, Asta just arrived. So yeah, it's a devil, but what kind of devil is he? That's what I want to know. But we hear no matter who I'm up against, I'll never break. Because guys like you really piss me off. Up against scumbags like bastards like you, it's like I've got you. It's like my dreams will never lose. As you see Yuno going into his angel form, and Asta going into his demon form, as you will. The magic welling up around him is weathering down all the physical objects nearby. And then you got Patoli. Has he finally awakened the lit? No, is it no? It's Riha, right? I think Riha that's saying that.
I think that's how you pronounce it, but I could be wrong too.
Yeah. So okay, a little correction on my end, but yeah, has he finally awakened the lit that is inside of him? I know some people are speculating is the chosen one being Lit's son? I want to say yes, but at the same time, you could say it is a coincidence that that both of their awakenings are a little bit the same. My thing is, Yuno's always had the magic stone like since birth, and again, one of the big mysteries is okay. So where did Yuno and Asta came from, and why is it that Yuno had the magic stone? Whether or not he is Lit's son, I have no idea. But I do believe wherever Yuno came from was of some higher power. I will say that. Same thing could be said for Asta too. Maybe. But I'm going to more so say it towards Yuno's end. And the other reason why I'm bringing Asta into the equation too is because, well, they were both dropped up at the church at the same time. And I think there's a lot Tabata can play around with that. But That's just kind of my thoughts on that particular matter. But what about you, Sparta? What's your thoughts on it?
I wish we could have recorded this during the time where the Viz translation come out. I mean, we actually only got one translation, and that's just from the manga stream. Of course, you guys support the official release. I'm pretty sure you all do. But anyway, back to what I'm trying to say. So we only got one translation. I don't know if anybody at Reddit, Tumblr, whatever this community has anybody has the raw version of like the either the Korean, the Chinese, even the Japanese version. If anybody has those and translated it, maybe there would be a very different like translation. Maybe it would actually end up being like a different way of saying it. Now, that is if of course this is 100% uh inaccurate, like in some way. Maybe it's like the Lich power or the Lich, like not exactly Lich 100% Lich, like himself inside of Yuno. Because if the translation is correct, if it is 100% accurate, then I guess that means Yuno really has the reincarnation of Lich, which is kind of shocking. So, I
Yeah.
mean, it would make sense. It would make some sense, especially with the whole four-leaf clover. He is a four-leaf clover guy, but maybe we need a little bit more clarification. Now, if it's mistranslated or like interpreted wrong, then well, it's interpreted wrong. End of story. But still, it doesn't take away that this guy is really damn strong when it comes to utilizing the elf power inside him. So that's pretty damn interesting. But again, we're gonna wait. I'm gonna wait up on the Viz translation. I'll probably update it in the comment thread. Probably just say like, okay, we find out that what they really meant is Lich power, not exactly Lich himself.
Yeah.
Whatever. But we'll see when we get to that. Yeah. Now for Asta, it is pretty sweet to see the demonic thing again. I always like his design. It just looks pretty damn cool. Surprisingly, it didn't take over 100% of him. It was like a good more than before, but not like 100. Kind of like Yuno at the same time. But I guess maybe it's saving up for like whenever the future arcs take us to. It's not like it's not like with one series. I forgot which series is it. I want to say Demon's Plan, where yeah, I know. I don't want to seriously compare, but let me get to what I'm trying to say. In Demon's Plan, it's a cancel series, so nobody won't care anymore.
Yeah,
It's a cancel series. It's a cancel series where the guy has an arm for an attack because he has to unlock his potential to utilize the entire armor set, pretty much the body set. That's given. Now, what's hilarious in a black comedy sense is that the series got canceled. So his last action in the last chapter is somehow ended up getting the entire full body armor set to go against a villain. But it goes to show you it was not supposed to happen because it was supposed to be a long term development. But like maybe chapter 540, he finally got the full armor. Yeah, we almost at the end of the series. Whatever. But it happens like around 13, whatever the last chapter number was. So
yeah,
yeah, in casing for Black Clover, the fact we don't see the 100% of them, we're gonna be here for a while unless they unlock something like a I don't know. Hey, look, a little girl who happens to have a drawback that would just keep rewinding everything. Let me go for 100% demon. No repercussion. Dun, 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 dun. Unless we have anything like that,
that'd be funny.
we're
If
not
that
gonna see
actually
that for.
happened.
I'll be pissed. I'll be like, wow, you kill all the tension just because
Seriously.
somebody just so happened to have the exact same magic that I just said right here, right now. Like, that would kill it. Honestly, I will be very upset. You probably hear me ranting all day when that one podcast, if that ever happened. I doubt it. I strongly doubt it.
Oh yeah, I doubt it.
But yeah. But what's interesting about the Asta part is the demon himself. He's like, huh, is he resonating with my mana? That demon, that devil over there, the anti-magic emanating from him is disintegrating all the magic in his vicinity. So it seems like it's reacting from the demon himself, and he's pretty much like, I guess you could say, grasping some of that mana. Like, let me get some of that mana because it's
Yeah,
the
I was
same
gonna
thing.
point
We're in
that
the same
out.
race. Yeah.
Yeah, that
I'm
actually
just,
kind
I'm,
of
just, I'm,
took me
mhm.
by surprise. I was like, because I mean, okay, I'm not gonna say took me by surprise because the second Asta showed up, I knew something was gonna happen in this chapter. But the fact that the devil's like, oh, he's resonating with my mana. I'm like, so because we made this prediction in the last podcast where we're like, okay, is there a connection between him and the devil from Assa's Grimoire? And it seems like there is, just based on what's going on right now in those two particular panels. But what's your thoughts on that? Do you think that further solidifies our little theory about like maybe there's a connection between the devil and the devil from Assa's Grimoire?
It could be. It's possible it could just be like similar in terms of sense of like I would say like we're in the same entity or like the same body, same person. Like there's only one devil. There's only one devil. I don't. Maybe it's more like There's always gonna be. This is like a bunch of devils. So long anybody keep forming the five grimoire leaf one. The leaf clover. Excuse me. But why this particular devil within Asta is the one that's resonated from that devil manas? I don't know. Maybe it has to do with like something that has to do with his special effects because we learn now that the devil can have a different magic rather than everybody's always an anti magic. Asta is anti magic and probably going to get an explanation why one day, but I'm not sure we're going to get an explanation here. It really depends. But this devil right now has the power to just pretty much say anything he could say, and it will happen. I'm not sure what's the limit. It probably isn't a limit, which is scary as hell. But point is, I don't think they're like 100% related, as in like one body wise, but I do think they are like, I do
Like that
think
they
there's
know each other.
probably like, right. I think they know each other or they probably like bump each other one day because again, this devil or at least this five leaf clover, they come from Lich, who was trying to stop this particular devil from destruction, which they fail. But maybe whatever the connection they have, whatever connection that whatever what happened in the past is bound to return in this battle. So we'll see. There's a good chance of that to be the case of like maybe it's just the fact they collided each other before. I don't know. I don't think they're like one big giant demon. I think it's like all separate demon. Like maybe if Patuli does end up getting the five leaf clover, because that's what it seems like back in earlier pages. If it ends up being the case, maybe we'll probably see a brand new devil coming out, but we'll see.
Maybe. What if that demon in particular was like one of like the kings of the demon race itself?
The one that the first Magic Emperor took up?
Mhm.
Hmm. Well, it was pretty huge, but there's a good chance. But I mean, it was pretty huge, and the skull itself was still left behind in the plain view,
Yeah,
which happens to be pretty close to where Asta and Yuno was dropped off by. We don't even know actually. So there's even a lot more mystery to those two characters. Yeah,
mhm.
especially Asta himself, like why he's the one that gets the grimoire, that particular similar one. It's like a reincarnation to pass down to him. Why he has to be the one? Why Yuno is the one that has like the four-leaf clover and all the good entities materials, such as like this, all the light material, light side. Why Asta is the one that gets the dark side? Why he's the one that didn't have any magic to begin with? What's the story with those two? We probably gonna get that maybe another time, or we're gonna start dropping hints in here. It's possible we start dropping hints in here.
Definitely. Yeah, it's definitely possible that we could probably get that. I mean, like even going further into like actually the final page, you got like Aston, like charging in. Like if you're going to get in my way, and then you got Mimosa thinking, oh, Yuno's taking the real blade and Asta's taking the magic ones. They're defending against all of them. Then you'll just have to be destroyed, and the demon's just there. Like as Asta's charging in, as Yuno's charging in, and it's not blood per se, but there's like I'm gonna assume that's like mana, like mana esque aura that's like dripping out from his mouth, which is rather interesting. With the fact that that's what it is, it's crazy. I'll say that the fact that they're both going in full force. Do I think they're gonna be able to defeat the demon? I want to say they could, but they're gonna go through a lot of struggle. That's what I'm predicting anyway. I think what we're seeing right now that they're gonna have to go through a lot just to take him out, in my personal opinion. And I mean, and given like with what's coming out from his mouth, where it's coming, and then it's like because it's kind of like circling around, like more so around Asta. So that's definitely saying it's Mana. But what about you, Sparta? What's your thoughts on like this final page?
Well, first of all, these two back-to-back double page spread, awesome, fantastic design. I love the second last one. That's pretty much the previous page one. It's
Yeah,
just so like I don't know if anybody color it, but if somebody did color it, I would love to see that right now because
that'd
damn,
be amazing.
again, I'm like, okay, Tabata has officially evolved into a working machine. There is no way he was able to draw all this crazy amount of details this entire chapter. I think it's the same. I think it's a normal page count as well. It's like, let's see, you take double two spread, that's like 19 pages, I think. If
Yeah, it
I
is 19
or
pages.
maybe 18 or maybe 17. It's still a lot. And there's a lot of detail. These are like so many crap is going on. You see a bunch of swords, which by the way, these swords are not the exact same design for every other one. They all differently. Like, hey, look, that's a sword from Link. Hey, look, that's a sword from Elder Scroll. Hey, look this. But again, these double page spread, awesome work. Now, to answer your question about like where these two would be the defeat the devil from, unless this guy has a permanent smile, no, and not by himself. I mean, like he took the hit, as you could tell from that one small panel. He took the hit,
He
and
did.
I guess I think his arm is the one that got cracked. I'm not sure. Whatever that black stuff that comes from him,
Mhm.
it got a crack in there. But he's all smiling about it. He's like, "Well, all right, you guys want to fight me? That's cool." And so I don't know that you don't. I doubt they will beat him by themselves. Personally, I think a lot of characters has to just come in. It was a matter of when or how they're gonna get there in time. Because we have a lot of characters that's still missing, Yami included. I feel like Yami should be there to try to equalize the equation at least, because you know Yami is pretty damn strong, and what better way to try to like avenge Julius than try to defeat the devil himself? I'm not
Right.
saying Yami would take the. I'm not saying Yami would get the kill. I mean, he could get the kill, but I don't think he would be like one on one with the devil. Oh man, Yami beat him. I mean, I'm just saying. The point is, I do think everybody's gonna do a hell of a teamwork, and it's the fact that we're close to chapter 200. Personally, I think he should like drop the big bomb at the 200th. It's only 3 more chapters.
He really
I'm not
should.
gonna prolong the fight. If anything, the next chapter could probably just jump back to like, meanwhile, this is what Noel is doing, or Charmy is doing, or maybe the other character, like Noel's brother. Where is he? So
Yeah.
any-
We're
yeah,
gonna get
so I feel like we could just start to line up and just have chapter 200 to be a huge one. It may not get a color page because we got a color page right here, right now. We just got one. But maybe the Weekly Shonen Jump probably thinking, you're on the road, Tabata. We really like what you're doing right now. We should give you a color page. It needs to be the main one, the one that you get a front page of the magazine and the color page. It could be just color page like in the middle of the magazine issue. It could be that. I don't mind. So long as just I just feel that chapter 200 will be a huge one because the setup is really there. You got like every other character that's still on their battle, and they don't need to continue on unless these guys don't give a crap anymore and be like, oh, we're cool just being alive, even though it was all done by the devil. But it depends on the fauna and the other characters. We don't know what about the Vermilion siblings. We don't know Noel and Jack. We don't know the other missing characters. We still have a lot of things to cover up before we get to like I don't know, like the finale of this battle, however it's going to end with, or however it's going to end on, because we have a lot of materials to work on. 3 chapters. I do think 200th chapter is going to be a huge one. So again, I don't
I
think
think
Yuno and Asta are going. Yeah. So again, I don't think Yuno and Asta are going to win alone. They're going to be essential, but I do think if every other character shows up, everybody will be essential to this battle, and
Oh,
that
yeah.
to me will be an exciting one. It'll be a great way, a hell of a way to end the arc with, like, just have everybody involved and just defeat the hell out of this devil guy, unless there's a different plan in mind. But if we are determined to end the devil, it'll be awesome. Just have everybody in there and just help each other out, because that's what
As like a group
Black
effort.
Clover, in my opinion, strength is at. Yeah, that's where the huge strength of the Black Clover series is at.
Oh, for sure.
Teamwork, effort. Hmm.
There's a lot that could happen right now. And again, because there's 3 chapters left until we get chapter 200, I do also believe we're going to get something huge. Whether or not if we get like something revolving Asta's origin, I don't know about that. But probably get some more revelation on like the demon stuff. Definitely looking forward to seeing what's going to happen next. And if Noel showed up in this chapter, which would have been cool because we would have had Asta's demon form, we would have had Yuno's angel form, and then we would have had the Valkyrie dress. Like, could you imagine if we had gotten that on one panel? Shit.
What is this preposterous? Having the main character, the protagonist, and the main heroine in one action? Impossible. That's what I would have thought, at least.
Yeah, right.
Because usually it'd be the rivalries, which is all cool. I do like that panel again with the whole them working together, especially how they take out the reigning sort of revealing light, which I thought that was pretty clever. So I'm digging that. So that's cool.
Yeah, but for the most part, I mean, in terms of a rating that I gave for the chapter on Tumblr, I gave it an amazing plus which I think is the same one that I gave last week, because it was just that good. I'll be honest, it was just that good of a chapter, and man, I cannot wait to see what Tabata does. I really, really can't wait to see what Tabata does, because arcs, again, so far we're like in the climax stage, and it's
Lots of
gonna,
words.
yeah, it's gonna be exciting for sure.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
no, go on with what you were gonna say.
Oh no, I just want to say that I thought this was a really damn good hype chapter. I mean, I'm really anticipating how this all going to end. Again, I don't think these two would take them on and beat them, because that would be, I wouldn't say it's anticlimactic, but I think a lot of people would like to see like more logical way to handle the demon, because the demon is deemed as the, like the most powerful race so far. And
Yeah,
this is the first time we witnessing that. It's not like we're gonna have another. It's kind of like the old days of Nanatsu no Taizai, the Seven Deadly Sins, where the demons were seen as like the most terrifying thing to
yeah, that's
face.
true.
And then like recently, they're pretty much the same level now, because shonen. But with Black
Shonen.
Clover, this is the first time. Well, yeah, but with Black Clover, people want to see them like huge threat, and we want to keep it that way for a while. So I don't think they're gonna beat them, but I am damn anticipated for what's to come.
Same here. And just for the time being, I think that's all we've got when it comes to Black Clover. Like I said, I can't wait to see what's going to happen. It's going to be crazy, and Tabata won't disappoint. I will make that statement right now. Tabata is not going to disappoint, because so far, for like the last 3-4 years since its debut, it's been on a roll, and he's probably going to continue that path going forward. But for the time being, you guys, that is pretty much all we've got for this particular podcast for Black Clover. Sparta, it was really great having you on board.
It was great to be here as always, and I really appreciate that you invited me once again for another Black Clover, and do hope to see the next one very soon.
Yes. And until next time, you guys, that is pretty much it. I'm LuckyRave,
Sparda3g.
and we will catch you guys next time. Hopefully when we find out wherever the hell Nozel is. Peace.